Alright, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the GBYWN Australia podcast for episode 10 here with, once again, yours truly, Aston Crude. And today I'm just taking a bit of a Q&A. The WZWA boys have all got together on the WZWA thread on Facebook and they've sent some questions my way, and by God, I'm gonna fucking answer them. And I've been wanting to do this for a little while, a little Q&A. The questions are still coming, so who knows how long this will fucking go for, but hopefully not too long. I got work in the morning, so we're gonna kick it off straight away with a question from Nick Ariel. After the final XCW show, did you ever imagine XCW regulars such as Johnny V, Blade and myself wrestling again, showing up for the odd appearance at WZWA/future events you'd be at? Well, as far as ICWS was concerned, I thought that was pretty much a done deal. Maybe Ariel, I thought you might have popped up in ICWS again. Lord knows you missed about 5 shows that you were booked on. But I didn't see any XCW guys going to ICWS after XCW was over. But as far as WZWA was concerned, when I first joined WZWA, in the back of my mind I always hoped that I could get at least a couple of yous to come along and watch, and then maybe you might be interested. But I knew from the get-go, straight up, you guys weren't interested. But eventually, I think once WZWA got cooking, throughout 2013, by the end of 2013, I managed to get you and Johnny V to do the Battlefield Brawl match, and then I finally was able to get you guys to wrestle at Resolution 2. But, at that point, no way would have I ever fathomed that there was even going to be a WZWA. No way would have I fathomed, once WZWA was going, that I'd actually have Blade on board, because I hadn't seen Blade since 2010 when XCW closed its doors. Did not think it was possible, didn't think it was ever going to happen. And there you have it, Hydro, like I fucking never saw that coming. The guy wrestled when he was a child, basically, and he's wrestling at WZWA. You got Blade, you got Diffuser making a cameo, you got Just Mike making a cameo. It's mental to me that we actually got as many XCW guys as we have so far through WZWA's run since 2012. Nick also asks, how do you see the return of ICWS turning out? And, it's only going to be positive. Anytime there's ever an ICWS show, it's always positive. It's always fun. Every time, it doesn't matter if it's ICWS, WZWA, anything. Every time you get together to have a wrestling show, you create memories to remember forever. Every time, and it's documented on video, it's put online, and you can look back in a few years' time and say, that was a great show. That was a shit show. That was a great match. That was a shit match. Whatever. Any time that you can get together with your friends and create memories like that, whether it be just through, fake fighting, which is basically what it is, or whether it's just, like the time I filled Tim's shoes with sand, and then I made a cheeky comment asking him in front of everyone, "Oh, Tim, have you been at the beach lately or something?" "Oh, why?" "Oh, I don't know. Look at your shoes." And then they were filled with sand, and everyone laughed, and oh man, what a sick bully I was. But, just little memories like that, things like that, it's always awesome when you're together with your mates creating memories like that. So ICWS will go well, and it will only survive if we've got people to show active interest in it. I know you all love the ring and all that, but wrestling on the base is just as fun, and ICWS is always fun, and I recommend it to anyone. Blade Shaw has popped in. What does 2015 have in store for Aston Crude? Well, I'm not going to give too much away, but a lot's going to change. I've been doing the same thing for God knows how long now. since 2012. I've been doing the same thing for, nearly 3 years, two and a half years, 3 years. I need to evolve. I've done what I've done. Basically my character for the last 3 years has been basically my XCW character, but even better than before, because I'm better on the microphone and I'm better in the ring. But, I'm tired of doing that same old shtick every time, the same crap every time. I need to evolve and change, and that's basically 2015 is going to be a big change for Aston Crude. Blade also asks, how do you feel about WZWA in 2015 with a shorter schedule from a booking perspective? It's frustrating, but at least we've only got 20 people to worry about now. Before we had, an extra 7 or 8 people to worry about. There's like 18, 19, 20 people to worry about now, so it's not too big of a deal, but it's frustrating having had all these plans for the whole year, and now all these retirements and all that screwed everything up. So we start from scratch, on the 16th, everything's changing. But, shorter schedule means we just got to tighten up storylines, we got to get to the point real quick. So if angles don't last an eternity, like an Elite Alliance versus Rebellion feud, then that's because of the shorter schedule. So if we have them feuds, they're probably going to be quick, boom, boom, 2 or 3 shows at most. If we're having 6 shows a year, with hopefully having shorter shows, small shows in between, hopefully that will help bump things up a little bit for us. But yeah, it's going to be tight, we don't have much breathing space, but we'll get there. I'm sure we'll figure it out. XCW worked with storylines when we had like 2 or 3 shows a year. So WZWA is totally cool at this stage anyway. Number 3 from Blade Shaw. Who would you like to see have breakout years in 2015 from ICWS and or WZWA? Well, in ICWS, breakout year for Ryan Tate, for sure. I consider him a part of the old guard of ICWS during its heyday in 2011 and 2012. That's how I see it. He's one of those remaining guys from that time, Clint Marshall's gone, Delcano's gone, JD Flame's gone, Knuckles is gone, Alex Stone's gone. Ryan Tate was there. Lowrider's gone. Tim Justice is gone. Ryan Tate's still there. Never won a championship. I think this year, especially in ICWS, should be the year for Ryan Tate to ascend to a higher spot in ICWS. As far as anyone else, I don't know. That's Ryan Tate's the only one I can really think of, just in the ICWS version of Big Red. He deserves that spot. And of course, I'd love to see Chaos continue his title reign and do what was initially planned out with this title reign. I think he deserves it. Question 4. Name 3 people that you either haven't wrestled before or in a long time that you'd like to face this year. Well, first one's Nick Ariel. Haven't wrestled him since 2010. And judging from that match, I know, deep down, we have great chemistry. And we could have a series of great matches, but we only get one this year, so I'm looking forward to it. May 16th, Nick Ariel, Aston Crude. Should be fucking awesome. 2 other people I haven't wrestled before. Well, I wanted to wrestle Clint Marshall this year, because we only had one match in January of 2013. I think we could have done even better. It was a good match, but we could have done even better. So I really wanted to have that match. Who else? I want to have another match with 3 Dog. The last one I had, I fell off the top rope, landed on the grass on the outside, fucked my back up, so the match sucked. I know we could have a great match, so 3 Dog's the other person. Okay, question 5 from Blade Shaw. Will there be any crossover storylines between WZWA and ICWS? Probably not. I know we both, me and DJ and, you know, back in the day, Chris Zeppelin, we always wanted to keep it separate, just so it's not like confusing, you know. But you know, when ICWS does decide they would like to close up, it would be cool to do a little ICWS versus WZWA series or something like that. I don't know. That, you know, ICWS is so ingrained in WZWA now, it won't really make much sense. But it would be cool to have a WZWA Originals versus ICWS Originals kind of thing. So I don't know. Maybe in the future, but who knows? It's probably not going to happen. Nick Ariel again. Where are you at with your career? You know, it's not really a career, obviously, but that's how we say these things in backyard wrestling. I look at you and wish you'd keep going and going. I personally would love to, and am going to give another shot at wrestling, but my fuckhead shoulder stopped me from enjoying it previously. When do you see yourself stopping? I don't know. Maybe when I'm 30. I think if you're past 30 years old and you're still a backyard wrestler, it's kind of a bit sad. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how I feel. But at some point I've got to move on with my life, because I've been doing this for 15 years now. I've got to move on and pursue other interests at some point. I invest so much energy and time into this wrestling stuff that I don't invest the time into music, which I want to explore, or my writing. I could be doing a lot more writing at the moment, but I just don't think about it. I need to invest in my future, and unfortunately backyard wrestling isn't going to support me in the future. So maybe when I'm 30 that might be it, but you know, it's definitely going to be winding down in the next few years. I can't be doing this forever. Okay, next question. Jack Wallace, out of the WZWA Originals, who did you always see something in at the beginning of our ICWS debuts, and why? Antilochus. He had that raw ability, that natural raw ability, and it was nothing against anyone else. It was just immediately you knew Antilochus was going to be fucking sick, and he was already sick then, and now he's even fucking better. Antilochus all the way. He was the standout out of everyone, and that's why when I took over WZWA, lo and behold, Antilochus is the one that is putting the backyard title on the map. He's been built up and built up with victories over the likes of Chaos and Rex Regum and Dark Ice and Mykonos. You know, I'm building him to feud with me and Alex, and he joins Brian Lowe, and they're the top two baby faces in WCWA. Him and Brian Lowe were always the two guys I was going to make sure that were going to be at the top, because I believed in them, and they did a fucking awesome job at it. So Antilochus all the way. Jack, who's got the best/worst theme song in WCWA? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't pay attention anymore to the theme song thing, because people change it so often that I don't give a shit anymore. I can't even remember anyone's theme songs right now. Nothing stands out. You know, I love Johnny V's theme song, Start Me Up, Rolling Stones. Fucking awesome. Gets everyone pumped up. Ultimate babyface theme song. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I'm really gonna spend. Let's see any amount of time I'm gonna spend on that question. I can't think. When do you think you'll stop yarding altogether as a wrestler, booker, and hobby? Well, I just answered that with Nick. You know, maybe when I'm 30. But who knows, even if when I'm 30, maybe I'll still book. I don't know. It's so far ahead. You know, who knows if WZWA will be around by then. Hopefully it will, but when you all start turning 18 and want to go party on the weekend, go clubbing, then we'll see how you feel about WZWA then. Because that's what happened to XCW. Same thing probably happened this time. Daniel Johnston. Detailed thoughts on where the ICWS should go. Thoughts on Nick James returning. Okay, we'll go with the first question there. Thoughts on where ICWS should go. I think you guys need to invest in your ICWS originals 100%, because that is what makes it authentic. You got to have Knuckles be involved at some point. I don't know if he should be a manager, but I think he should be involved, you know, in some role that keeps him as a character on there. Having Nick James returning, awesome. We need ICWS originals. You need to invest in the Ryan Tates, the Chaoses, the Ices, the Dan Zeppelins. Not to say no one else should get a nice spot, but I think guys who were there initially, who were the backbone of ICWS back in the day, should still be the backbone now, and you should be going with them. Even try and get maybe JD Flame involved. You probably wouldn't be interested, but just always remember your history and what it means to ICWS, and that history means a lot to its future as well. And as far as the evolution of ICWS, DJ, that's an integral part to its future is its past. I know we got the new guys who haven't been at ICWS before, like Kai Fusion, like a Still Kemsley, like to a lesser extent Monet and Jack Wallace. They're not as new, but they still weren't really there in the heyday. Maybe Jack was there at the tail end, but as far as anyone else, they're WZWA guys wrestling in ICWS. The rest of us are ICWS guys who now wrestle for WZWA. That's the difference. So I think an investment of everyone that is an integral part to ICWS's past deserves to be a part of its future. And Dan Zeppelin, without a doubt, should be an integral part to every show. Wiki Nick James from here on should be an integral part of every show. Ryan Tate, Ice, Chaos, and not so much me, but I'd still like to be a prominent part of it, and Knuckles as well should definitely be a prominent part of it, as well as you, DJ. Okay. Dan Zeppelin, what does Carlin Free think about Aston Crude? I think Aston Crude is the character that I would love to be in real life. Ruthless, will get what he wants at any cost. I wish I was more like that. So it's good playing that character because I get the opportunity to play out these sick, twisted fantasies in the world of backyard wrestling. What has been your favourite period of your yarding career? Asked Dan Zeppelin again. Favourite period? I guess 2010, whilst we're doing this ICWS versus XCW invasion storyline, which was amazing. We're having XCW's best year ever. 2010 was awesome. It's hard because, I think back to the time Blade Shaw joined Elite Alliance and we're all standing there, posing. We're at the top of our run as the Elite Alliance. That was a great moment. That's a favourite period. So it's pretty difficult to answer, but I'd say that part in 2010 was so awesome for me because I thought I'd lost yarding. XCW was only having one show a year, but then I got this great year, 2010, 5 shows for XCW. I got to wrestle for ICWS and be their champion. That was a great time for me. Dan Zeppelin, if WZWA turned into a professional wrestling company, what would change? A lot. We'd change the name. Everyone would have to get training. I don't know. That question would take a whole podcast to talk about, so I might leave that for a later date. But basically, everything would pretty much change. Dan Zeppelin, what was your darkest moment in your yarding career? Darkest moment? Shit, that's so heavy. Darkest moment. Probably the time when it was like around ICWS Day of Destiny and WZWA was starting up, and I bailed on a couple of ICWS shows because of my depression, so I kept letting you guys down. And then WZWA, I didn't even show up to the first show that I booked, Frostbite 2012, and then I had to leave halfway through Road to Ruin 2012, the following show, because of my depression and feeling sick and anxious. That was a bad time, because I kept missing shows and my depression was fucking with me. So that's probably the answer, the only answer I can really give. How many beers do you estimate you have consumed at yarding events in your career? Too many and not enough. Dan Zeppelin. When the XW invasion was locked in with ICWS, did you expect it to turn into a long ICWS career, or were you just expecting it to be 4 or 5 months stint? At first, I thought I was going to be sticking around with ICWS and staying as champion after the 5 vs 5 series, but of course I did the Schwa training and then I wanted to be a pro wrestler, so then it became a 4 or 5 month stint. But initially, I thought I was going to be sticking around ICWS for some time, and I wanted to be a great champion. Something that I still hope I can be at this stage, but it's probably quite unlikely. Dan Zeppelin again. Who are 3 people you have met in backyard wrestling that changed your life considerably? Daniel Bonner, Diffuser, without a doubt. He is someone I look up to as a human being, and I still have not implemented anything that makes me anywhere near the man that he is. Johnny V, you know, if I had not become his friend, then I wouldn't have had XCW, and then I wouldn't be the person I am today. So Johnny V is a big one. Another person who's changed my life considerably. It's just shit. I mean, those two are pretty intense, you know. I don't know. I can't really think of a third person, sorry. But I'll just say Diffuser and Johnny B. Dan Zeppelin also asks, how do you feel the morning before a WZWA show? Are you nervous and hope that all your planning goes ahead smoothly? No, I'm never nervous. I'm just excited to be there. But I get annoyed when I get fucking messages, oh, I can't make the show, or I'm late, I'm going to be hell late. You know, right on the day of the show, all of a sudden all this shit pops up. You know, people can't make it or whatever. Pardon me. But yeah, I'm excited for a WZWA show. It feel, you know, as I said with DJ in the podcast that we had, it feels like Christmas morning every time there's a WZWA show. Nick Ariel, your thoughts on the evolution of Revolution, knowing that none of it was with your blessing, or knowing and that the virus will continue to grow between the cracks of the war zone. Half a kayfabe and half a non-kayfabe question there. The whole Revolution thing, yeah. I don't really know, like, I wanted Nick U to be totally on board with the Elite Alliance thing and really be a part of it. But it didn't help that, yeah, I don't know. The Revolution thing was awesome for the Clash of the Triads stuff. But I guess in a way it was kind of annoying for me because I was trying to do this Elite Alliance thing, but then you kept wearing the shirt and you and John wanted to do your own thing, and so I just let you guys do it because if I didn't, then you guys probably wouldn't be interested in coming. So, but you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens in the future for Revolution in WZWA, because I think it has the chance now that there's no Elite Alliance. It has the chance now to be what it could always be. Luke Monet, name some of the biggest character evolutions that you've seen in backyard wrestling. Fuck. That's a tough one. I guess JD Flame was quite a big character evolution from where he was when he started in ICWS to what he is now as the ultra babyface who looks like a superstar. And back in the day he was wearing speed dealers and bike force shorts, and he was that just typical aggro heel. So yeah, I guess, you know, JD Flame's a pretty big evolution as a character. Just Mike he was just a nerdy little white kid. You know, when he first started, he wore an NWO shirt when he wrestled. Then he became Just Mike, the Canadian backyard wrestling hero, the Canadian superstar. And that was a great evolution for Just Mike. Who else? You know, it's good to see Dan Zeppelin, you. you've evolved from Dan Zeppelin with the long hair over his face to the cannibal Dan Zeppelin. That's an awesome evolution. Seeing Blade evolve over the years as a person and as a wrestler, that's another one. I don't know, there's so many. Sorry, I thought Dan asked that question. It was Luke, my bad. Nick. Okay, the podcast better be uploaded tonight so I can listen to it on the way to work tomorrow. Yes, I will upload it tonight. Luke, biggest flunks in your backyard wrestling What do you mean flunk? I'm going to Google that. Definition flunk. What the fuck do you mean flunk? Failed to reach the required standard. Okay, oh, you mean like flunk. Not flunk, you mean flunk. Okay, my bad. Something that didn't reach the standard that it was meant for. The end of XWA in XCW was my stable there. It's like a shit version of the Elite Alliance. The way that ended was that was a big fuck up. I'm not going to get into it here. I'll talk about it another time. Trying to push people like BMX. Had an idea for him to have a feud with Dark Ice. That I should have seen that coming, that he was going to fucking be a cunt and miss shows. Another flunk, maybe. Putting Brandon Cage with this Broken Highway Mafia thing. That was a bad decision. That should have never happened. But in a way, I'm kind of glad it did. I don't know. That's all I can really think of for that. Yeah, that's it. Look, do you ever think another WA yarding fed would appear? No. Not really. I've been waiting all this time. ICWS was there, WZWA was there, but I find it very hard to believe there'll be another one. There's that one in Albany, but it's not really anything yet, so no, I don't think there will be another one. Nick Ariel, it's easy to accept that WZWA reached its peak late last year. It's harder to push forward and make it even better. Realistically, the company needs you 100% on board to make this happen. Does Colin Fury in 2015 have it in him to make this happen? Yes. Things are going to be totally different, Year 1, it was the Stable Wars with the Black Carnival, the Rebellion, the Elite Alliance. Year 2 was WZWA versus Elite Alliance. It was the evolution of everyone that year. This year, no different, more evolution of everyone. Many twists and turns coming your way. 2015 is going to be a great year. It might not be as good as 2014. The climax of Resolution 3, we might not be able to top that. But, we'll certainly give it a red hot go. Another question here from DJ. What are some dream yarding matches you want to see and why? Well, I got to see one with Alex Stone and Johnny V. That was cool. But ones that I want to see, obviously Dark Ice versus Diffuser. That would be fucking awesome. There's no doubt about that. You got the big man of the new era and the old school big man of the old era. The old guard meets the new guard. That would be fucking great. I'd love to see Dan Zeppelin versus Johnny V. That would be fucking cool. I'd like to see a rematch between Dan Zeppelin and Nick Ariel from 2010. From there, Mykonos versus Johnny V will be cool. I would love to see Lance Lightning wrestle Chris Rowe, because that is a train wreck waiting to happen. I want to wrestle Lightning Lewis again. It's not a dream match, but I want to beat him because he beat me last time and I didn't get my revenge. That sucks. Another dream match, Three Dog versus Blade, the two biggest men in backyard wrestling going at it. I think that'll be awesome to see those two bulls lock horns. Yeah, I'm just going to go with them, I think. I've seen a lot of dream matches with Ariel's run last year, so Antilochus versus Johnny V would be cool too. Okay, DJ, how far can Blay go in yarding? As far as he wants to go, pretty much. That's the answer. DJ, in Australian yarding, better from a cultural standpoint than US yarding? If not, so why? Or is Australian yarding better? Fucking hell, I'm not reading this properly. Is Australian yarding better from a cultural standpoint than US yarding? I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't watch US yarding that much. I've seen a little bit here and there. It looks like they really enjoy it. But they, what they do and what we do is completely different. We do entertainment, We mix good wrestling with entertaining storylines and angles. I don't know if they emphasize too much on the angles and storylines. I know some people do, but I don't think they emphasize on it much. But from a cultural standpoint, I don't even know what a cultural standpoint means. Cultural. Wrestling culture. I don't know what wrestling culture is. What is wrestling culture? Culture. I don't know. I can't answer that question properly. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, DJ. I tried. Alright. Big Ace asks, who would I like to see again in a backyard wrestling federation? I'm going to go with... Fuck, that's hard, actually. I would like to see Chris Zeppelin. I want to see Chris Zeppelin in WZWA. I want to see what we can do with that character. I think that would be really cool. Okay, who do I see as my all-time favourite diffuser? Del Cano just cringed. He's sick of me loving diffuser, but diffuser's my favourite. That's it. That's the end of the matter right there. Okay, I think that's about it. Let's just have a look. I just got to refresh the page here. There might be more questions. Let's have a look. Okay, back to the questions. Okay, Nick Carroll. The night before the event, when you're on your 7th beer, what's your go-to clip to get you pumped up for the following day? Probably something to do with Sting foiling the NWO, or something to do with Steve Austin ruining someone's day, or Brock Lesnar beating the fucking shit out of Michael Cole, or Stone Cold beating the fucking shit out of Michael Cole. Basically, if Michael Cole's getting beaten up, I'm there. I think that is the last question. Yep, that is the last question here today. Thank you guys for all your questions here for the GBYWN Australia podcast. That was the Q&A with Aston Crude. I'll do another one another time. Thank you for the questions, and I will speak to you all next time. Thank you.